How's it going, VC? Back with you to do a contest entry. I try to do some of these when I can, don't do all of them, but I was inspired by a new channel. Thank you to Stunt Rock Confusion, for throwing some light on a channel I hadn't heard before. Wax Ecstatic and Tuco, who's doing a sub contest for his, I think it was 200 subs, pushed to 300. And I had watched Stunty's video about Lamont Young and the Spaceman 3, and sort of the idea being, what is a record you love so much or just want to wish you could experience again for the first time, probably, for a variety of reasons, because it was life changing, because it was amazing, because it sent you down a path. It could be, there's a lot of different ways you can take that. And I took it to a little bit of a different approach. It's a really interesting question. Thank God you heard this certain record, how your life might be different, how your listening habits might be different. I'm going to talk about a band I don't listen to a ton right now, but they were very important, and I've seen them play many times. Hugely important in my sort of development and push to find other kinds of music, and specifically instrumental rock, some psychedelic rock, post-rock, which is really, and they're really the founders, or one of the earliest, developers of this style. And the album is called Young Teen by Mogwai. Now, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but it's a record that, when I first heard it, not only did I love it and blow me away, but I had so many questions, I had so many thoughts about it, and the big thing is it kind of scared me. And I don't mean like I was frightened by it, but something about the grandiosity and the bombasticness of it, and the dynamic shifts. There's tracks, particularly one, which I'll talk about in a second, where you literally get jumped. It knocks you out of your chair every time. It's such a sudden change from soft to blisteringly loud, and even now, it gets me. And I think that's why when I listen to it now, or whenever I listen to it, I'm always a little bit on edge, a little bit with a lot of tension. But it just blew me away, and it was, well, I'll talk a little bit. I got into it when I was, in my early days, just out of college. I was working for an independent label called Jet Set Records, no longer around, and they were releasing Mogwai's records in the US and CDs. Or a Scottish band, if you didn't know. And so I was able to get some records from them, working at the label. I didn't get to work specifically on any of those records. They'd already been out by the time I was working there. I was working there in 2000, 2001. And Jet Set down on the west side of Manhattan. I used to go there every day, and I would commute from just outside of Queens, where I was living where I grew up. And I would take, for a while, I was taking the bus to the train, the F train, taking it all the way down to, for an hour. It took me almost an hour and a half to get there every day. Eventually I got a car, and then I would drive the car to the subway and take the subway and all this. But anyway, it was a long trip. This is the 10 Rapid EP, by the way. This they gave to me. And this is a triple album of remixes called Kicking a Dead Pig. Mogwai remixed. Most notable remix on here is Kevin Shields. It's okay. I keep this more for posterity's sake. The 10 Rapid EP is amazing. But Young Teen is their first official album. They had a bunch of singles before it, which are all compiled on 10 Rapid. So Young Teen, they first gave me the CD at the label, and they didn't have any more record. They did put out a US pressing of Young Teen. In any case, I heard the CD, and that's what I listened to primarily, and it just blew me away. I would listen to it. It became a tradition to listen to it on the way home, because the record is over. I think it's over an hour. It became a tradition. I would be coming home late. We used to start at like 11 a.m. I used to come home at like 8 o'clock. It would be long days. And this record, Young Teen, I would listen to on the way home every day. And the last track, Mogwai Fear Satan, it would always end. It ends with flutes and just sort of, big guitars, but like these really beautiful, cosmic, lovely flutes that sort of fade out the track with fuzz and everything. And I remember it'd always be get me to the end of the subway, and and be walking in my car late at night in Jamaica, Queens, and just listening to those flutes on my Walkman, my Discman. And so it really brings me back thinking about this record, and one I kind of wish I could hear for the first time, and just sort of, when I first heard it, it was a dawn of me really, I had discovered, some obscure music, but it was a dawn on me pushing into a whole bunch of other stuff. And I really, I'd love to be able to rediscover sort of that earnestness, that yearning for, like, wow, what else is out there? And this thing terrifies me. Why does this terrify me? And there's so many questions, and it's a very quiet, like it's mastered low, or it was. And there's like phone calls on it, which I found out were actually fake phone calls done with some of the Jet Set staff. It's a long record. It's mostly instrumental, but you do have vocals from Aiden Moffat of Arab Strap a little bit. And like I said, those dynamic shifts, those loud, quiet, no one did that as good as Mogwai. Maybe still doesn't. So this edition I have here is actually the first reissue of the album. This is a UK box set on Chemical Underground. This has gotten incredibly expensive. The original press, there's a UK Chemical Underground and the Jet Set version, which I didn't have. This is the original cover. And the track that is the startling one that knocks me out of my chair is Like Herod, the second track, Me Too. Radar Maker, I think it is, or is it Tracy, I forget, has like incredible stereo panning that just blows your ears out. It's insane. It's actually a great one to listen to on CD without having to flip sides, but in any case, Yes, I'm a Long Way From Home is just epic. And like I said, Mogwai Fear Satan is the closing track with the flutes and everything. Are You Still Into It with Aiden Moffat? It's a landmark record. They would never do anything better than this. There's some other great ones in their catalog, which I love. There's nothing bad, but for me, this is the record I would love to hear all over again, and just sort of experience that fear, anxiety, beauty, surprise. It's an incredible album. This box, by the way, includes like out B-sides and things, other tracks, the appendix. It's a 4 LP, yeah, it's a 4 LP, 2 LPs extra. It's originally 2 LPs extra of additional material. I put them all in MoFi sleeves here. Really cool label design too, just really plain Mogwai Young Team. Apparently they felt like they didn't quite. I read, I forget where I read it, but Mogwai felt like they didn't quite knock this one out of the park. They felt like this was a bit half-baked, and they didn't love it. I think they felt like their next record, Come On Die Young, which is excellent too, and I have the box set version of that. That was their sort of like them feeling like, wow, this is what we wanted to make. So my voice is going a bit, but yeah, that's Mogwai Young Team, a record I would love to be able to experience again for the first time. Thanks, Tuco. I've just discovered your channel. Looks cool. I'm going to start checking it out. I subscribed. And thanks, Stunty, for pointing this out, this contest. That's about it. Take care, everyone. Full-fledged video with new updates and new finds coming soon. Take care.